So I have been waiting to talk to somebody. Jake was supposed to come on to talk about this, and I haven't talked about this with anybody, like as far as like, on a podcast. Of course, off the script, yes. But Avatar 2 has crossed $2 billion. And I know Chase
Oh,
saw it, and I'm
oh yeah.
gonna brag because you know what? Everybody that has been waiting since 2009 for Avatar 2 to come out. I always sat back in the quiet space of the internet. I was like, you know what? I have faith in this film. I have faith in James Cameron. I know it's going to be successful. Everybody was crapping on it. You're like, oh, this film's never coming out. Nobody wants to see this. It was a one-time thing only. I'm just going to sit back and be like, yo, I told you. I was right. It has a good feeling to be right. But with that all
It
being
it
said, I just want to pass it over to you, Chase, and get your Avatar 2 reaction because I haven't talked to you about Avatar 2 yet.
well, when I watched it was the best experience I had at a theater. It's not now, and I'll tell you why later, because I don't want to get off topic. Um, so remind me. But it was a great experience for me. Like I haven't seen the first Avatar probably since 2009. And I saw it in theaters, thought it was amazing, and then I saw it at home and I was like, it's Pocahontas. So for me, the Avatar movies, it's more I have to focus on the world building and the visual effects more than the story, because the story I feel is regenerated from just past films and all that. So to me, it doesn't have a strong story, but it is literally the perfect film or the perfect example of why we go to the movies. It's stunning. I mean, that whale scene, anything with a whale in Avatar 2 is my favorite. That's my favorite scenes. Like if the whale wasn't in it, I wouldn't have given it as high of a rating. But um I think the only I do understand people who don't like or who are upset that it take what 10 years for it to come out, or the sequel. It took, I don't know how long it took exactly, but I, not seeing it for that long, I didn't really need to see the first one. It seemed like it was its own separate film. It didn't seem like you had to watch it, it wasn't something like, oh my gosh, I have to watch the first one before you watch this one. Like I feel like you could never see Avatar. Like you didn't have to see the first one and then you see this one, and the only thing in my head that you need to know is, oh, the bad guy is from the first one. Okay, that makes sense. He came back as an avatar. Cool. Let's move on. Now I'm curious on what they're going to do in the future, and to me, it's going to be one of those franchises that it's going to be all about the visual effects and how this next one's going to wow you even more. Because I read an article that they were bringing fire into it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's going to be every element on Earth. It's going to be popping out. But it is nominated for 4 Oscars, Academy Awards, excuse me, for sound, visual effects, best picture, and best achievement in production design. So it's going to win at least 3 of those. So
So it is actually, you nailed it when you said it is why we go to the movies. I will say the top 2 this year, and of course I put Bullet Train at number 3. I love Bullet Train. Bullet Train was an amazing film.
yeah, it was.
I don't know if you agree with where the placement is this year, but number 3 for me was Bullet Train. Number 2, of course, was Avatar. Number 1 was Top Gun. But Top Gun and Avatar had the same reason, and I would say Bullet Train, but more so the top 2 of why we go to the movies. And again, Avatar 2, you also mentioned you didn't need to see the first one, or you didn't feel like you needed to see the first one. I went into Top Gun Maverick never watching the first Top Gun. And you didn't need to see the first Top Gun to realize what was going on in the second one. And I think that is something that's kind of lost in Hollywood right now, especially with so many sequels. Because so many sequels, like especially Marvel films, you kind of get lost in this mix of like, what's going on? Well, wait, you didn't watch the Disney Plus series? Like, no, I didn't watch it. Okay, it's the first time I picked up a film since like 2011 or whatever for Marvel. Like, no, I don't know all this character building and like world building, and I don't know why this is funny. So I think like you nailed two different things there. The one thing I want to say though, and I've been preaching about this at least specifically that I want to see in Avatar 2 this whole time. I love the idea of Awa, and I know that like you and me are very spiritual and religious, but I like to
Mhm.
see that religious, that mythology in my films. Star Wars has elements of mythology. And that is why I appreciated this franchise and this film. And I was kind of glad that James Cameron's still with that mythology. Now, don't get me wrong, the daughter's gonna be like the Jesus baby. I don't know why she's there, but boy, are those cool visuals when she's like controlling all the undersea creatures, and like that's just some
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
stuff right there. Um, but like connecting with nature, connecting with yourself, and the family element, I was very shocked. And this is something where James Cameron surprises me, because he'll go on social media and say something like we need to abolish the father like figure in the families and stuff like that, but yet he makes this beautiful fathers protect their families type vibe. And so did Natiri, the mother. She protected, and boy, she looked savage in that final battle scene. Like she looked feral. She was ready to kill, by the way. Like you just saw it in
Oh,
the eyes.
so
Great,
yeah.
great acting, by the way. Terrific acting. But it's just like it had all those elements that I was ready to see in a film that I think Hollywood has kind of gone away from.